if I'm a human being on this side of the earth and not in heaven, I'm going to go through challenges. And not only go through challenges, I will succeed and overcome some of them. And some of those things, I'm going to fall, and I'm going to fall short. But God is asking us to get up, repent, ask His forgiveness, and to keep persisting and pursuing Him.
No human being can fathom what God has prepared for those who love Him. Seen, heard, imagined.
This episode holds sacred but emotionally heavy themes. For that reason, we've chosen to split this conversation into 2 parts to give you space to pause, process, and return when you're ready. Please listen with care and pause whenever your spirit needs rest. In this episode, we're going to talk about how our Creator restores what we have lost. And today, to help me address this very important topic, I have my friend Roland Wiley. He is a voice actor, a singer, master of ceremonies, and on-camera host. Plus, he is the audio description narration audition winner for the Society of Voice Arts and Sciences Conference from 2024. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much, Michelle. It's a real pleasure and privilege to be on your podcast today.
Oh, thank you. This is awesome. Now, we've been following each other for a long time, and then we did finally meet not too long ago at the SOVIS conference. And you're a believer, I'm a believer, and I was just the beginning of this year, beginning of 2025, I was really overwhelmed to find out what happened back in my home state, California, what's been going on with you and other voice actors as well. And I really believe that your spiritual beliefs and your faith is something that really got you through the Eaton fire situation. Now, for the viewers, do you mind just explaining your personal spiritual beliefs?
No, not at all. I would say it started back in the late 80s. I was in my first youth group I had ever been in at Altadena Baptist Church, and went to a Christian camp. I had never been to a Christian camp before, and by the end of the week, I decided to dedicate my life to Christ then. And it was just, at that time, I can remember that just being necessary for me, because everything was just kind of just out of sorts for me. And I just knew that I needed God to really just anchor me and ground me at that time. And He has been truly just the best Heavenly Father I could ever have. And especially in regards to the Eaton fire, He has been my anchor. He has been everything for me and my family.
Now, what does your relationship look like with our Father? Like, how does that look on a day-to-day basis?
Day-to-day basis, that is, 24/7. It's that I need to start my day in gratitude and just really grounding myself with Him throughout the day. And it's not just like, oh, well, let me say my morning prayer and that's it. It's that's part of it. But then when I'm on the road, that's when I have my time. Or I journal, and my journaling is really more of communication with Him. Prayer is really having a relationship with Him. The whole concept of really having a relationship with Christ is truly that. It's having a relationship with Him. That means talking to Him and with Him and asking Him for help throughout the day. It's not just, well, I do it in the morning, I do it when I eat, and I do it when I sleep. It's throughout the day for me. And truly, I could say I've learned that more so in the midst of this of 2025. Really. I mean, I was doing it in 2024, but just as we all do, we really recognize and understand who God is and how he has brought me through this entire process of the Eaton fire and just navigating some things in my own personal life that I'm recognizing, like, okay, I can't do this without you.
In all of that, you have quite the story to share about the Eaton fire that started on Tuesday, January the 7th of 2025. And it's my understanding that it lasted for 24, 25 days of just burning through the hills out there in Los Angeles and into residential neighborhoods.
Yeah, I mean, I can eerily replay Tuesday going into Wednesday because at the time in Altadena, our power went out at 5:18 p.m. because on the news, and I will constantly give credit to Mark Brown on ABC 7 News here in LA. He was saying that winds were coming that were life threatening. And I'm saying, okay, all right. But keep in mind, at that time, there an Eaton fire wasn't happening. Eaton fire hadn't started yet. It was in the Palisades. The Palisades had their fire before Eaton. So I'm like, okay, high winds. And if you are a local to Altadena, we've had high winds before, but not to hear a newscaster say life-threatening winds. That was really like, okay, wow. So 5:18, we hear about the Palisades fire a little bit later, and then we hear that there's a fire in Eaton Canyon. I mean, back in 93, there was a fire in Eaton Canyon. However, you didn't have 80-mile-per-hour plus winds involved. As the night progressed, it's like we were staying up listening to the radio and just listening to what's going on. And around, had to be like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. After being a little bit overwhelmed, I took my mom and we went to go eat close to the Eaton Canyon area, and we saw where the fire was at the time. It hadn't gotten past Rosemead Boulevard. Now, if you're a local Pasadenan, that's pretty much towards Sierra Madre Hastings Ranch. So that's much further east. So it's like, okay, it's still over there. We got our food, came back. I decided at about 2 a.m, because the winds were just really just relentless. So I said, okay, well, let me just go in my bedroom and I'm going to catch a little shut-eye for a bit. And that was, between 1:30 and 2:30. Next time I woke up, it was probably around 4:45. And I didn't wake up on my own volition. I woke up to the smoke alarms going off. Smoke alarms going off. I'm always a forever Boy Scout. So I grabbed my headlight, put it on, and I'm looking around and I just see ash floating around. I'm like, okay, this is a problem. I sprint to just see what's going on our block. And truly, Michelle, it looked like hell on earth because the fires were around us. I see our neighbors, everyone's just leaving because we have elderly people on our block. We have an older community on our block, but we also have families that are multi-generational, and I'm just watching everyone leave, but at the same time, I'm seeing the wind just whipping around. And the scary part is that the wind is changing direction at the same time, and trees are on fire, and palm trees are on fire, which are far worse. I don't like palm trees now because what happened is that because the palm trees were on fire and combined with the winds, it was throwing embers at houses. So you just see like little balls of fire hitting these houses and just starting igniting these houses. Here's the situation. I injured my leg in December 2024. I didn't find out until roughly around in between Christmas and New Year's that I had tore my Achilles. So I was in a boot, but I was trying to schedule the surgery. Couldn't schedule it. So I was just in a boot. And now imagine me in a boot, grabbing stuff, making sure my mom's managed, and getting out of the house. My mom was in no shape to drive. She said, I can't drive. So I said, that's fine. Just get whatever you can, put it in my car, and I'll drive. Because my right foot is still good. My left foot is the one in the boot. And we left there, and I mean, it's pure chaos just seeing fire all around. And we just leave. And it's interesting because my mom thought we were coming back. I didn't have that thought. I was in more of a survival mode at this point. And it was just scary because everywhere we went in Altadena, our usual main thoroughfare that we take, Lincoln Avenue, fire. Everywhere is fire. At one point, my mom said, well, why don't we check on the church? So made a turn, went up the street. Winds are violent, and I could not see past a certain point. And I knew where the church would be, but we couldn't see it because the winds were too much. The embers were too great. And I said, Mom, I can't go any further. I have to turn this around. I think it was, and at this point, I couldn't even tell what time it was, honestly, because it was still dark. And what I mean by that is that it wasn't still dark due to the time of day. It was dark to the smoke. You could not figure out what time it was because it was just dark. And at one point, I saw light breaking through, and I thought it was a helicopter with a spotlight, only to realize it wasn't a spotlight. That was actually the sky. The blue sky had broken through. And then I looked at my watch because I hadn't looked at any timepiece, and it was about 7 in the morning. And at this point, I mean, it's that dark. You can't tell. I mean, 7 in the morning, usually it's a little lighter. You couldn't tell in this situation. My mom wanted to go see how the house was holding up. So around 7 or 8 o'clock, we went back. We were able to still make it up there. We turned on the block. Ironically, our neighbor across the street called me and was asking how things were because they had left earlier that morning. The scariest thing I had seen is that she asked how was her house. And before she got that out, I looked at her house, and it went from partially in flames to engulfed within seconds. And I just told her, Susie, I'm so sorry. Your house is gone. And at that point, I made a turn into our driveway. And my mom was thinking like, oh, I can go in the house and get something. I'm like, no, you can't. Because at that point, our backyard was on fire. So I knew there was just no way that she would go in there. And I told her, I'm like, Mom, it's a scratch. There's no. I said, our neighbor's house is on fire. Their backyard is on fire. It's only a matter of time. Thankfully, my son was with his mom at the time because I called her and just I just let her know what was going on. And I said, I don't know where we're going right now. I just know we're driving. And thankfully, the fire did not reach her home. However, it did reach the block at the top of her block. And it did destroy several homes there. Thankfully, they were further down, so it didn't reach them. But eventually, even they had to leave their home because of the smoke. So even people that weren't directly affected by the fire in terms of losing a home still had to leave for, may have been maybe 2 months. It's still surreal to think about because we wound up going to the Pasadena Convention Center because that's where on the radio they were saying for people to find resources or just like a bed or something. And unfortunately, that place was already packed out. I mean, you had young and old in a convention center, which you've got families kind of grouped together with their cots and like creating kind of like small little forts for themselves. But you also have elderly people that some are convalescent and they need assistance. And we saw paramedics or other convalescent homes in the nearby area picking them up and taking them to an assisted living or convalescent home because their original convalescent home was no longer. And yeah, it was hard because I was looking at my mom and I was looking at the accommodations and I said, okay, physically and emotionally, this would not work for my mom because it's at least 500 people in a convention center room. It's stressful. I mean, and I told my mom, I'm like, we'll have to find somewhere else to be because I know I wouldn't sleep because I'd be concerned about my mom's well-being. And people are going in and out. And there were some people that, that were, they were having mental health issues and they were having outbursts. And I understood it. I got it. But I knew for my mom that would not work. So we got on the freeway and drove east. And we wound up going about roughly, I want to say, Walnut Covina area, which is about a good 20, 30 miles east. And we found a hotel out there because I knew instinctively we weren't going to find a hotel or motel in Pasadena. The next place over is Arcadia. That's not going to work. Monrovia doesn't really have a lot of hotels. And it's like, I know all the cities going east, and I wanted to make sure that we were near a freeway that if we needed to go back into the area, we were nearby that. I didn't want to take us out into an unfamiliar territory for both of us to try to figure out. And we were out in the Covina area from January until about, I want to say mid-February, early March, like 3 months.
Do you find yourself, I don't know, it's been quite a few months since the fires. Have you looked back at that footage on your own at all, or?
Before we got online here, on air, so to speak, it's that I am in the process of just working on small videos just explaining how things were. And I know later we'll talk about it. I had posted at least videos on social media just to let people know what was going on, but I haven't gotten into that part yet because I know I'll be able to work on it in parts because looking at the footage, I've got photos on my phone I still got to go through luckily I have a photo of our house before the fire. I have plenty of photos post. Yeah, it is hard. It is truly just hard. And not even just, in addition to looking at the footage, just being here, thankfully our home insurance found us a place here in Glendale, so we're much closer than where we started originally. So now instead of being almost an hour away from Pasadena, Altadena, we're now 15 minutes away. And reason why I'm saying that is because even being here, we are grateful that we have somewhere to be. Yet at the same time, we are still struggling with the emotional aftermath. It's that I will go into the kitchen and in my mind, I'm looking for a certain cup or a certain bowl. And I'm going and I'm just looking like, where is that? Why can't I find it? And then moments later, it kicks in. Oh, that's right. That was at home. The home is gone. And that happens a lot. I just did that yesterday. I was looking for a piece to add to some of my audio equipment and realizing that's not here. And I mean, the first few weeks were really just gut wrenching. I mean, I would have dreams of being at home and my mom saying like, "Oh, make sure you get that before we go." And I'm like, "Go? But what do you mean? Make sure I get it before we go?" And I'm grabbing it in my dream. And I remember this dream as clear as day because I was partially in the dream, but partially also aware of reality. And I'm just like, I know I can't grab any of this. And I'm saying this in my dream. I know I can't take any of this because our house is gone. And as I walk out the house in my dream, everything is gone outside our neighborhood. And those were the experiences I had at the early onset. It is less now. It is still hard. It is still hard. I mean, for both myself and my mother, it's that there were childhood toys that she had growing up. And those are gone. And same with me. It's like there were toys that like my aunts had given me, and all of my aunts have passed away. And those things are gone. And at the same time, I have to remind myself that those things are gone. However, the memories are still there, which is good. It's not to say it doesn't hurt, because some people get those twisted. Like, so it doesn't hurt then. No, it still hurts because it's a joyful memory, but there's a sadness that comes with that. And I mean, I had some of those, even those moments with things that my mom had made for me, because my mom is a seamstress and she created clothing for me. She created vests for me. I mean, even as an adult, there were vests she made for me. And this is where I would say it was like a turning point for me. It's that I may not have the item, but thankfully I still have the person. So there's been a lot of perspective that I've gained throughout this time because, yeah, I could easily focus on what I don't have. Yet at the same time, I have to realize what I do have. I mean, thank God I didn't have the surgery before the fire.
Oh my.
Because
yes.
realistically, if I had, it'd be a whole different outcome.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing, because I'm a very organized person. When it comes to calendaring, I'm on top of it. And for each time I kept trying to do it after the new year, I was not able to schedule it. Something always came up. And I was like, oh, gosh. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And then about a couple of weeks afterwards, once I would say I had some stability, I realized, oh, thank God I didn't schedule that surgery.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I said I wouldn't have been able to move at all.
Mm, mm, mm.
So it's realizing the blessings
Yeah.
in the midst of all this chaos.
It just reminds me of the story of Job in the Bible. Now, in what ways does your experience compare?
When I think of Job, I actually touched on that when I was teaching high school. There was a literary piece we were studying, which was Fahrenheit 451. I had made all these allegorical comparisons between Guy Montag, who's the protagonist, and Captain Beatty, who's the antagonist, but also with Job, because both Job and Guy Montag had everything. They were very successful and very just doing wonderful things. If you haven't read Fahrenheit 451, I strongly encourage you to read it. It's a very quick read and very pertinent read for what's happening in today's world. But all that to say is that when I think about what Job endured and went through, yeah, I mean, it could be very well that I could have someone acting like, I would say, Job's wife and saying, oh, we'll just curse God and die. And it's like, no, because if it weren't for God, I wouldn't be here. If it weren't for God, we would not have made it. There's so many instances in these past few months where I can say it's all God. And it's all God, because I'll give you the immediate example. When I think about it, my mom, like I told you, had to leave her car. She was in no emotional shape to drive. Now, 2 weeks after the fire, a person came up to her and said, God spoke to me and told me to tell you that you will have a car sooner than you think. And Mom told me about that. I said, cool, okay. Wasn't really on the forefront of our minds, because like right now, it's 2 weeks into the fire.
Yeah.
Post-fire.
You've
We're
lost
just
everything else and you're just trying to survive and
right. Yeah, we're just looking for basic needs being met.
right. Yes.
It was like, do we have food? Yes. Do we have shelter? Yes. Okay, good.
Yep.
And someone introduces a car. I'm like, well, all right, well, cool. But we don't think much more on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, surprisingly, at the end of the week, that same person calls her and says, we have found you a car. And I was like, okay, well, and Mom tells me, I said, okay, well, I'll drive us over there and we'll meet them on Saturday. We get there, and it is the same car that she had. Different color, same car.
Really?
Yeah.
Was this person like a family friend or?
Just someone she knows. Like she's crossed paths with them multiple times, and they know each other fairly well. But it was just interesting because we get there, and I tell my mom, like, Mom, that's your car. She was like, I know, I see it. And then this person and his wife, I'm sitting there like, okay, wow, this is going to cost money. I'm like, okay, do we do a payment plan? How is this working out? Because that's where my mind goes. I'm like, cool. How are we going to pay this? And I went over and asked him, like, so how are we doing this? Because I'm like, based on our situation, it's great, but how? He said, God told me to provide this for your mom. It's taken care of.
This conversation was split into 2 parts to give you space to pause, process, and return when you're ready. We hope that you will return to listen to part 2 with care. Do you or someone you love need the power of prayer? Is there a challenge you're facing that only our Creator can help you overcome? Then share it with this community by leaving a comment below this video or using our contact form on the Seen, Heard, Imagined website to share it privately. I'd love to pray for you, have others encourage you, or even send you a personalized prayer to address your unique situation. Thanks for watching and listening.